Hello, I'm John Franklin. My understanding is that I'm speaking to you as a sales team, and I just want to tell you briefly about the content of the book, why I wrote it, and then what's in it for the end user. The content of the book is just a very simple 30-day guide to help people establish the habit of prayer. And toward that end, it contains 30 daily training exercises. It has a format that people follow that has 5 pieces that is designed to help them pray from a God-centered viewpoint. And so that's the format. They'll have a little bit that they'll read and they'll react to. It's not very intensive on the user. It's more of a one-on-one approach. So that's basically what it is in the content. Now, why did I write it? Well, I spent 12 years as a prayer consultant and doing a prayer ministry, itinerantly speaking in different churches. And it became very apparent to me that most people do not have a practical way to put teaching into application. And so I would go somewhere, I would talk about prayer, teach on it, and yet when I was gone, what do you do? Well, this was an attempt to address that need and that concern. It put something in their hand that allowed them to 30 days establish the habit. And you've heard the axiom that if somebody does something for 21 days consistently, they develop a habit. So that was the purpose of that first. The second thing was to help people understand prayer as something that God is training them in for life development. Now, most people that I see do not have a concept or a view of prayer as something beyond the immediate here and now. They don't have a sense that God is taking them somewhere to develop their life. I see people who are 70 years old forwarding me stuff on the internet. They've been in church for 40 or 50 years, and it's these little cutesy little stories about one-on-one, them and God, or God did this, and let's all get a big group hug. It's not the sense that I am being developed and my life is going to be used for kingdom purposes. So I wanted them to have the sense that they were being trained for it. The best thing I know of that illustrates this is the Gospels. In the Gospels, in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Peter all the time is blowing it. But in the book of Acts, there's no record he ever blows it. Once in Galatians. But in the book of Acts, he has radically changed. Jesus was developing him. He was training him. The Gospels was not where he lived his life. The book of Acts was. It's not okay to say, well, I just love Peter. I can identify with Peter. You know, he doesn't know what to do, so he does something anyway. Only opens his mouth to change feet. That's not okay. He lived his life in the book of Acts. So I wanted to help people get the mentality, you are being trained by God for kingdom usefulness and for kingdom purpose. And then the last thing that I wanted to do was that very thing. I wanted to talk about prayer as it relates to the kingdom. One of the things that I see that is glaringly missing from most prayer teaching is how much the power of God in prayer is directly connected to the assignment that He has given you. When Moses is praying, he is to lead the children of Israel into the promised land. His prayer life and the power that comes out of it is connected to his assignment. The same thing is true for Paul. It's true for David. It's true for Daniel. They pray about their assignment and the power of God flows through them. That is true from the Gospels to Acts and the disciples. It's let's get rid of these kids. Let's stop the person from casting out demons. Lord, send this woman away. She's crying out after us. Their requests do not receive much of a response in the way of God's power from Jesus until Acts. Prayer, maturity, is connected to praying for the kingdom. So I want people to understand this because I don't want us to live Christian lives that are substandard, that are taking up time on earth, filling a pew, or perhaps occasionally bumping into something that's correct and God uses us. So what's in it? Well, I mean, the obvious is it's an attempt to train people how to be God-centered. how to focus on Him, know what He's up to, where He's taking them, what's His perspective, how to relate to Him. And then what happens when we do that? Well, then we see what the biblical characters saw. We begin to see the power of God flow through our life. We begin to see a consistent walk. We move on to maturity, and there's a great usefulness of our lives for His service that is laid up to our credit, excuse me, forever. So that's what I see coming out of it, and that's what I hope to do with this book. Now, the book is a foundational piece. What I'm describing occurs over a lifetime. That is not all going to happen in 30 days. It's a relationship that's in development. But what this will do is set the standard and the direction for the things to come. So that's my prayer. That's my goal. That's why I'm excited. And that's what I believe it can do for millions of Christians, or however many choose to use this book. So thank you very much for letting me share with you. May God bless you.